Joe Lisi with CFBTV.com, rolling with the Pac-12 previews. Let's get it started in Tucson with Kevin Sumlin and the crew. Kevin Sumlin, year number 3 after taking over for Rich Rodriguez. A disappointing 9-15 campaign in the first 2 seasons, but more importantly, just 6-12 within the Pac-12. That's a 333 winning percentage. Last year, the team started out 4-1, but then lost their last 7 games to end the year at 4-8 overall. This was a team that was just 2-7 within the Pac-12 last year, and they lost those 7 conference games by an average margin of defeat of 20.7 points per game. When you look at the offense, Khalil Tate, the former starter, did not live up to expectations last year, completed 63% of his passes, 14 touchdowns, but 11 interceptions, made some poor choices in terms of forcing throws into coverage. That led to turnovers and, more importantly, led to Khalil Tate not becoming the starter at the end of the year. Grant Gunnell took over, freshman quarterback entering his sophomore season, completed 65% of his passes last year, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he's going to have some weapons around him in terms of the receivers this coming season. When you look at the rushing attack, former leading rusher J.J. Taylor, 721 yards, has moved on to the NFL, but Gary Brightwell is an interesting player. He's a playmaker that if you give him the football in space, he can take it to the house. 390 rushing yards last year, average 5.9 yards per carry and 5 touchdowns. But he's going to need to do more, especially in the short to intermediate passing game, for Arizona to put up points this coming season. When you look at the wide receivers, they are loaded. Cunningham, Joyner, and Castile, that group combined for 114 receptions, 1,332 receiving yards, and 10 receiving touchdowns. One of the most experienced groups within the Pac-12 this coming season. Defense could be good, but needs to get better in the secondary. When you look at the linebackers for Arizona, that's going to be the strength of this team entering 2020. 3 of 4 starters come back. That group accounted for over 180 total tackles, 7.5 sacks. One of their linebackers, Tony Fields, 94 tackles, has moved on and transferred. Otherwise, they would have had 4 legitimate starters entering the 2020 campaign. But the Achilles heel is the secondary. This was a group that allowed 7 of 12 opponents to pass for over 300 yards last year. They need to cut that down considerably if Arizona is going to get back to a bowl game, or more importantly, get to 500 within the conference.